Hello everyone, Kaiser here, and today I'm back with a new full video since it's been a while since I've done one of these. And today I'll be showing off a new custom figure, that being Amaterasu from Okami. And this is a figure that I've wanted to do for a while, especially since me and my brother are big fans of Okami. But the only problem that really showed up whenever I wanted to make it was the fact that there wasn't any good wolf action figures. It was either you would either use a statue, like a static figurine, or a wolf figure that didn't have the best articulation, pretty much only moving the limbs back and forth, which does work for some people, but I just wanted a bit more. And another issue is, at least more recently, I wanted a wolf figure that can fit into like a 6-inch action figure scale. But thankfully, Hasbro made a 2-pack for their G.I. Joe Classified series, which had Snake Eyes and his wolf Timber. And the moment I saw that figure, I decided that it was finally time to make Okami. So while recording, I realized that there's a new Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack, and Timber is white in that one. So that's kind of funny, isn't it? This was made before that 2-pack even came out. And yeah, as you'll see, I think it came out pretty well. And I'll also say another inspiration that came that showed up for this figure was a customizer slash collector called Crossover Customs, and I'll put his Okami figure up on the screen. He used a Funko action figure from the the Game of Thrones action figure line, which again does work, but for one, that figure is expensive, and two, it just didn't have the best posability. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the very quick work in progress section. And here we have the custom Amaterasu figure finish, and I have to say, for a figure that isn't human, or at least humanoid, I think it came out pretty well. One of the things that I was considering while making this figure was whether or not I should keep the fur, since Amaterasu is kind of known for having that furless, almost smooth look to her. But I decided to keep the fur on this figure because, one, I just like how it looks, and I didn't want to go through like all the sanding down and just all that. It sounded like a nightmare, so I just decided to keep the fur. And two, I believe that Monster Hunter did the same thing with their version of Amaterasu, where they kind of kept the fur of a normal wolf, and it looks pretty good there. So I think this works for a version of Amaterasu with fur. And aside from the head, the lower parts of the leg, and the tail, most of this figure is just repainted white. Obviously, I did still sand down the figure in order to avoid paint rub the best I could, but yeah, it's mostly just a repaint. I added the red details on the front of the figure, on the face, and I also added the tufts of fur that kind of expand out. I'm not sure what you would call these, but like on the back of her legs and her tail, I sculpted those and then painted the black brush strokes on them. And another thing for the tail, I did actually extend it in order to make it a bit longer and add the little black tip, you know, kind of make it look like it was dipped in ink. Another thing I did was the the just craft foam. I did that to not hinder the articulation of the legs, since they are able to go out. Some people would probably use clay, since, you know, it's more sturdy and you're able to sculpt it, but while I can see where they're coming from, I just decided to use craft foam to preserve the articulation. But yeah, not really much going on with the actual figure. And when it comes to her accessory, the disc, I forget what name it has specifically, but yeah, I sculpted this just out of clay, and then I painted it a dark teal with a black wash in order to get the details of like the engravings, as you can see. And I also made this little fire effect so that it can fit with the disc here. I think this came out pretty well. and I think this came from a straw. I just cut it and I drilled a hole into the figure, as you can see, so that I can add the little pole here, add that to the figure so that it can look like it's floating, you know, as it's usually shown. I think that came out pretty well. Now on to our articulation. This wolf figure has surprisingly good articulation. I was quite surprised. The head, as you can see, is able to move kind of rotate, and it can also move side to side. So it can go there. It can go like that. The neck, this is gonna fall off, so let me take that off. The neck can go up that far and down that far. The arms are able to go forward. They can go back, and as you can see, it's not getting in the way of articulation. They can go out to the side, and they have a bend here, and that can swivel, and it also has a bend here. And the paws are on ankle joints, so it can go, it is able to go back, but again, it's tight, but it can go back, forward, and it does have ankle pivot. The torso, or just the body here, has a, I can actually show it, I can't, it's in there pretty tight, but it's able to bend like that. It can bend forward, it can go side to side, and it can, I would call this a swivel, but it's just more of the body turning. But yeah, really good articulation there. And for the back legs, it's pretty much the same as the front legs, except this joint is able to go back. This goes forward, as you can see. Again, the joints are tight, and pretty much the ankles are the same. And the tail is able to go up, down, and rotate. So yeah, all around pretty good articulation, and for a character like Amaterasu, I think you'll be able to get some pretty good poses out of this, as you'll see in the pictures. And if you saw the background, you know that I will be comparing her with other Capcom figures, so let's get into that in a sec. And here she is with a couple other of my Capcom figures, that being Chun-Li, Chris Redfield, X-Zero, and Classic Mega Man. And like I said, I think this fits pretty well with a 1/12 scale action figure collection. She's pretty big for a wolf, but not too big that it looks out of place, or even too small that it looks out of place. Next to other characters, I think she looks pretty well. So I'm super happy that I was able to get a timber figure in order to make this Amaterasu figure. I am thinking maybe I'll be able to make a few other wolf figures, maybe like Wolf Link or some other characters like that, since it is a pretty good base for, you know, actual wolves. Oh, maybe I can even make Megumi's wolves, if you remember that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be sure to have a few more videos out soon. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys